Yeah. It's not very often that a video game is considered to be a masterpiece by a large audience of people. A game that you might think is a masterpiece might be called boring by someone else. Maybe they don't understand the point of the game. Maybe they don't have the patience to play it. Maybe it just creeps them out. Regardless of the reason, it's safe to say that deeming something a masterpiece is purely subjective and will never be agreed upon by everyone. But there is something that we can agree upon. In the early stages of playing almost any great video game, everyone has that moment in which it hits you. When the gameplay experience and visuals come together to create something that gets you truly excited. In that very moment, it becomes clear that what you're experiencing is special. In one way or another, you're being emotionally moved by what's in front of you, and it's something you're not going to forget. To put it into words, it's that moment in which you go, oh shit, this game is actually really good. I want to keep playing this, and I don't know if I'm ever going to want to stop.
I got the power now! I'm doing good in the game, so I'm doing good in life!
Regardless of what games we consider to be a masterpiece, if you tell another gamer that a game gave you this moment, it's likely that they'll know what you're talking about and they'll appreciate it. Most recently, I experienced that moment while playing a boss fight against Ribby and Croaks on Cuphead for the Nintendo Switch. Ribby and Croaks are two watercolor 1930s style animated frogs dressed as boxers, Croaks the taller and Ribby the shorter of the two. They start the battle off by launching a couple of fireballs and fireflies at you before one of them shapeshifts into a giant fan while the other erratically tosses orbs in your direction. If you can survive this portion, one frog swallows the other and they shapeshift into a giant cash register that spits out deadly coins and sends wildly dangerous platforms in your direction. I died and died, then died again, and after that, I died some more. But eventually I won, and I immediately raised my arms in victory. In that moment, where the hard work of memorizing strategy and constantly sitting on the edge of my seat finally paid off, I realized I was onto something special. And boy, is Cuphead special. The most obvious feature that sets Cuphead apart from its competitors is its art style. Inspired by the likes of 1920s and 30s cartoon classics such as Betty Boop, Popeye, Mickey Mouse, Swing You Sinners, and Hell's Bells, Cuphead adopts an aesthetic that we haven't seen in ages. Its jittery, emotive characters can be just as terrifying as they are adorable, and their expressions make them feel like real personalities, despite the fact that they act as such over-the-top zany cartoons. Not only is this style just plain cool, but it perfectly complements the game's challenges. Cuphead is not to be trifled with. It isn't easy, and it isn't for everyone. The game's art style leads it to take on a life of its own, as it almost presents itself as an age-old challenge for the devil locked away since the 1930s in some old cellar until discovered by some unlucky gamer who must once again overcome its obstacles in order to lock it away for good. Despite the fact that you play as a couple of cute cup characters, your journey takes you to the front door of some of this world's most demonic beings before you trek into hell and take on the devil himself. Although it may look cute and funny on the surface, Cuphead is no walk in the park, and it wouldn't work so well if it was. So what makes a difficult game with its own beautiful individual art style so damn good? Well, it's pretty simple actually. Like most things in life, people tend to get excited when they accomplish something that took a lot of patience, skill, and hard work.
Yes! Hell yeah! Hey, come on, baby! Come on! Yes! Come on!
When we really work for something, it feels better to have accomplished it rather than just having it handed to us. Cuphead serves as a microcosm of that same concept. Each boss battle is structured similarly, starting off a bit calmly and eventually evolving into absolute chaos. This is where the learning curve comes in. First, you need to figure out how to avoid each obstacle while simultaneously attacking as frequently as possible. This becomes more and more complex as the battle continues, eventually leading to a point of utter mayhem where every action you take must be absolutely perfect in order to survive. Overcoming these challenges takes an admirable amount of patience, repetition, hand-eye coordination, and timing. A complete boss battle normally takes around 2 minutes, but you die so many times and get so hooked into the experience and the challenge along the way that an hour can pass easily before you finally overcome that boss, followed by your immediate celebration. The manner in which Cuphead manages to hook you so effectively is a feat of its own. So many times I've been discouraged when a game presents me with an absurdly difficult challenge, and early on in my life it may have led to me quitting the game completely. So why is this different? Why is Cuphead so insanely addictive despite the fact that every time I play it I fail dozens of times? Simply put, I think the answer is that Cuphead is so upfront about its difficulty. Its challenges are a part of its world, its design. It simply wouldn't work if the game was easy. You're given the option to play an easier version of each boss, but you're not allowed to move on to the next area until you defeat the game in which it was meant to be played. It's so perfectly difficult in nature and so visually original that you're encouraged simultaneously by the progress you make within each fight, just as much as the promise of the next beautiful, disturbing work of art waiting for you next. Some bosses might take one sitting and some might take several, but regardless of the time it takes you, when you finally do beat that boss, the feeling is unmatched. It's a feeling that you don't want to stop feeling until you beat the devil himself and conquer the monster that is Cuphead. I really do love playing this game. Although it's 4 years old, I'm getting my first taste of it now that it's been released on the Switch, and it's probably the best $20 I've spent on a game. It gives me the perfect blend of rage, fascination, and excitement, and it provides a daunting, beautiful experience unlike something I've ever seen. I haven't even finished my first playthrough, and I'm already looking forward to playing the game again and for a sequel to be announced. But until then, I'm going to keep playing Cuphead, and I don't know if I'm ever going to get tired of it. I fell in love with its absurd, ultra-realistic world, and its unapologetic challenges keep bringing me back for another round. For what Cuphead sets out to do, it accomplishes it perfectly, and I genuinely cannot find one flaw with this game. Cuphead is a masterpiece. And that's all I've got. If you like this video, please hit that subscribe button to check out some more quality content. I try to release videos weekly, so make sure to stay tuned. And as always, thanks for watching.